Hi guys, it's Luke.
Oh, it's Bernie.
We're here today for the second episode of an ongoing series called At the Concession Stand, where we talk about old movies that we either have never seen, haven't seen in a while, or just old favorites, and we kind of analyze them, tear them apart, pick out some of our favorite things to talk about, and there we are.
Right.
So we watched the movie together.
Batman Forever.
We watched Batman Forever together for the first time in a while.
It was cool. It was really cool. I liked straight off that Tim Burton was like the director.
Yeah, it was definitely better than I remembered.
Yeah. At first, like when I wanted to do a Tim Burton film, but like I didn't want to do like something stupid and cheesy like, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride or something cringy. Not cringy, I guess, but like so just like very niche kind of movie. So like Batman Forever, I just didn't realize that Tim Burton was the director, and very nice treat.
Yeah. I didn't know that he was the director either. I knew he did, honestly, like the one with Jack Nicholson, and I knew he did Batman Returns with Danny DeVito. But yeah. I thought that when like these newer Batman movies, I guess, with like a different actor started coming out, I guess really, don't all three have a different actor?
All three of them do have a different actor as Batman, and I think that like there's gonna be a big, huge like I think my brother is somebody who would have yeah, of course Tim Burton
I guess yeah. I'm confused about the continuity between the three movies. Like I don't know what's canon between the three of them.
I don't think anything is, and I think that's the biggest complaint people have towards Batman, just in general. It's just that it's never a concurrent story until The Dark Knight came out, which obviously. So
yeah, Tim Burton made the movie. Definitely a very Tim Burton feel to it.
Totally.
So Jim Carrey plays Edward Nygma. He shows Bruce Wayne the mind manipulation device that he's invented, and he asks for funding, and he wants to be partners with Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. And he shows him the brain machine, and in the next scene, his boss catches him working on it after hours, and he knocks his boss out, and he tries it out on him. It's like the first time he's ever tested it out on another human, and he realizes that it allows him to suck up other people's intelligence, and
right.
And make himself smarter while kind of dumbing down the other person. Which was pretty interesting. I know you had something about how Jim Carrey was a better villain.
Yeah, Jim Carrey was totally, I think, in my opinion, better than, the Riddler. I get it. Not the Riddler, than Two-Faced. Because, I get it, Two-Faced was, in my opinion, I think that it wasn't as fun to watch Two-Faced than it was fun to watch the Riddler, just because Tommy Lee Jones, in my opinion, just kind of, went off.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
I just didn't like his acting.
As Two-Face, a.k.a. Harvey Dent. So Tommy Lee Jones is, way super overacting the entire movie, start to finish. I honestly thought his performance would have been more in line. I said this while we were watching. I think his performance would have been more in line with what you'd expect out of somebody playing the Joker. You know,
and I found that interesting.
With how crazy his overacting was, it was almost like Riddler hanging out with the Joker. It didn't really feel like, I guess, Riddler hanging out with Two-Face. But I'm not super into the comics either, so I guess I don't really know.
Right.
I don't know any other version of Two-Face besides in The Dark Knight when Harvey Dent gets his face.
Yeah.
And he's all, angry, begrudged.
Pissed off, right.
Yeah, whatever. And, so yeah, I definitely think that Jim Carrey, his role is his acting is way more on point, and the role has aged better than I remember.
I would have to, yeah.
For Jim Carrey.
Absolutely, and I found myself liking the movie a lot better now this time around than watching it.
I guess it's one of those movies everybody talks about as being a bad movie, so you associate it with being a bad movie. You just assume it is. But honestly, yeah, rewatching it now wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It was honestly pretty entertaining start to finish.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. So, the innuendos, I feel, seem like a lot for a PG-13 rated film, in my opinion. There was a couple things, there being, a joygasm, or when, Batman came to see, what's-her-tits at her apartment. He's like, I gotta get you out of those clothes. It's wait, okay. If my mom, I feel would be like, not going to watch this alone, she would have fast forward through those parts because she watched all my movies before I could watch them.
I mean, in that regard, I think one of the worst parts of the movie really was Nicole Kidman, you know, in the beginning especially.
Misusing the whole bat signal.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to get her pig slammed.
She gets a little bit better toward, like, the end of the movie, like, where she, you know, develops more character besides just, like, a walking, like, you know, sex
symbol,
thing.
yeah.
Right? But, like, in the beginning of the movie, especially the way, like, they show her as a character, like, she's just there to, like, bounce, like, sexual one-liners
exactly.
off of. Like,
so, like, introducing her still, I mean, it was appropriate for the time. Because if you look at other films that came out in that time, like, it was appropriate. It was nothing everybody would be like, oh my god, like, look what they did. Like, now I feel like if we, you know, started a movie and that's how you introduced the leading lady, it wouldn't make it past the discussion table, like, you know, before, you know, even pre-production. Like, it wouldn't even met. They're like, no, she's actually gonna be like not there just for you guys to oogle over. So
definitely women have a bigger voice in Hollywood nowadays.
Yes.
So I think they would have done a better job of representing her in a modern movie for sure.
Yeah.
So you wrote down about the Batmobile side wheeling. What do you want to say about that?
It was pretty slick. Like, I didn't expect to see that. It was something I think aged nicely over time that you don't really see. Because that mechanic is totally possible and feasible, in my opinion. To just get the wheel axle to just, like, whoop, and then you just go boom. Like, it's nice. I enjoyed that a lot. I was
so
like,
it's like believable enough to, like, assume that, like, a real Batmobile would have a feature like that.
Mm-hmm.
That the wheels could go kind of like any direction.
Exactly.
You know, like that.
yeah.
And it's kind of almost like, I'm pretty sure how the newer Batmobile works, where it's less tires and more like these, like, round things that kind of, like, roll
The
around.
balls,
Like, especially
almost,
when the Batmobile breaks off into, like, the bike in the Dark Knight, and it's just those two wheels, and Batman does go sideways, and the wheels just, you know.
Right. So, like, I enjoyed that. I feel like that was the first, like, it was done well. It was
Right,
done
for
well.
1995 to, like, 2009, like, the effect, you know, they did it as well as they could have.
They did it as well as they could, and I feel
For
like
sure, and it holds up pretty well.
totally, because he was just like, bloop.
Yeah.
And
that's a thing in general about older movies like this is there's a lot less CGI.
Yeah.
When there is CGI, it's pretty obvious and jarring. Like when Batman jumped off of the building and turned into, like, a CGI Batman.
He was like, yeah.
He looks all, like, rubbery.
He
and,
like goofy.
yeah.
Like, just not
He didn't
Batman.
look floaty, though. You know, they did a good job with the weights and the weight and, like, physics of it. Like, he felt nice and weighty. He didn't feel like light, like in the Black Panther fight scene when they feel, like, super light just flying through the air.
just like, yeah.
And then the CGI, the other CGI I noticed was when they did, like, a big zoom out of Wayne Enterprises right before they introduced Jim Carrey's character. It's like this, you know, it's like this huge, massive, like, way over the top building that has, like, a man-made waterfall coming out of the side of it. Like, it's supposed to represent, like, you know, the, like, industrial
or natural energy
complex
something.
Well, it's supposed to be like a giant factory, like, in the sky almost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Tim Burton. Like, think of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
And that's another thing that I
You know.
enjoyed a lot. Like, when they were walking into Wayne Enterprises, I felt like it was like Tim Burton.
The whole
Tim Burton,
thing.
it was like I was inside Tim Burton's brain, and we'll touch on this very often in this video, I think, is that you can see into his mind. Like, I love his directing style. It's probably one of my favorites.
Well, it's not just the directing; it's the sets. You know?
Sets, but he has
It's all like the long, like the, like, really tall things and the bright,
that's how
and like the
he-
different colors, like that one scene with where Robin steals the Batmobile. He goes out and fights
those
and
like
fights those, like, neon
mask
face
guys, and there's like
guys.
black light outside.
The
what I'm talking about.
Robin gets introduced as part of, like, the Flying Graysons when they go to a circus. Like, Nicole Kidman's character and, you know, Bruce Wayne go to the circus together, and at the circus, Two-Face shows up with a bomb. He's gonna blow up the whole circus. He said, you know, if Batman's here, reveal yourself. And Bruce tries to yell over all the crowd and the commotion. He tries to say, I'm Batman, I'm Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody can hear him. Like, even Nicole Kidman sitting right next to him didn't hear him.
And even us, like, as the viewers can hear that, like, there's just so much going on. Like,
I honestly probably wouldn't have known what he was saying if the subtitles weren't on.
correct. Right. I always watch movies with subtitles on because I'm weird like that.
It just helps you pick up little fine details.
Little things, man.
And Robin's family goes up to try to get the bomb out of the like this big dome room or whatever that they're in. It's weird. It's Tim Burton-y. And so they lift this bomb up out of it, and they're sitting on these like rails that are like suspended by wires.
Yeah,
or something.
it's almost like those
like the type
the
of
window cleaner things, like they go on those like pulley.
like scaffolding. Or I was thinking almost like the fixtures that like bars and like music venues will attach lights to, because it was a circus.
Because there's places for you to stand, but like there's no place for you to actually
And it would just be hanging there because nobody would be on it. It would just be stationary,
right.
And so they're up there, and Two-Face has a gun. He's like, and he shoots down the wires on the thing that's supporting them.
And they all fall.
And Robin's on the roof pushing the bomb out of the roof, and the rest of his family falls to their death.
What I found interesting, and I don't know, it wasn't really explained all that well, was that Robin was like gonna be ward of Batman or Bruce. Like, how old is Robin? Like, I don't know any of that information. It's insinuated that he's a child almost, like he's a young kid.
I think more what happened is Bruce was there when this is the way I took it, because I thought about that a little too. Like, why is this older kind of guy
just
going to stay with this billionaire?
Right.
So what happened, I think, was he was there when his family died, and he, immediately saw the connection between the death of his parents and the death of his own, and the death of Robin's parents and the death of Bruce's own parents. And he, his plan was to mentor him and to kind of help him get back at Two-Face all along. And Robin kind of played right into that, and he was saying that if he had stuck around, they would have like hit him with like social workers and charity cases and stuff like that. So he, brought him in, and Robin was using that as a way to escape, any sort of like, boo-hoo attention that he would have gotten. And because
he also wanted to go against after Two-Face.
Because he was going to bail on his own immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he was a ward of the state or something to the point where, Batman Bruce could have stopped him. So instead, that's when they kind of convince him to stay with the burger and the and
motorcycles.
Letting him keep one of the motorcycles if he fixes it up and stuff like that. And so, your thing, I guess, was like, why did he go to stay with him? Like, why wouldn't he just
Right.
And I think it was more he was offered to, and he used that as a way to kind of get away from the press and everybody, and then he was just his plan was just to dip right out of there, 100% to begin with.
Okay.
So, it was more just an easy out for him to avoid kind of like, you hop in Bruce Wayne's limo, you ride straight to Bruce Wayne's house, and nobody, paparazzi's not going to follow you through the gate. So.
No, right.
Robin, I know you wrote down something about Robin,
Yeah, the whole, him stealing the Batmobile, in my opinion, as somebody who's not really, a huge Batman fan, I can kind of look at it with, it was kind of just filler. I feel like they buffed it out because the whole story, I feel, would not have changed much. I feel like that's the point where I was reaching for my phone or doing something, and I realized I had to stop myself. No, we're watching this for a reason. We have to pay attention, and that was something that I definitely wrote down just because it was just dumb, and he was acting like an idiot the whole time too.
It was a moment of learning for Robin's character, for sure, because he thought he could do what Batman did, and he thought he could handle it and didn't need the suit and stuff like that.
Right.
And what happens is he gets out there and he takes on the first rounder dudes no problem, but then all of a sudden another 20 dudes show up.
Right, and the Batman comes out of nowhere.
And then he knows he's, screwed. He goes to try to run away, and he's getting, pickled or whatever. He's caught between, a rock and a hard place, and then Batman shows up, and saves the day. And especially at this point now, he knows Bruce is Batman. Right. So, when it's not Batman saving him this time, it's Bruce Wayne saving him this time, and
right.
And so
I
that
feel like then that had to happen.
yeah.
In
So
the
you were
movie.
calling it filler a second ago.
I know, like, but still, like, I feel like they could have done that in a different way because, again, it's not necessarily.
It's not a great scene.
In my opinion, like, it just didn't. Lost me a little. They could have done that in a different way.
He's real
without all the
douchey.
black lights, without Robin acting like a douchebag.
Robin's character in
without-
general is douchey.
Douchey the whole freaking time.
I made a note about that. How the reason he even knows at that point that Bruce Wayne is Batman is because he sees Alfred going in and out of the Silver Room, and he asks why the door's always locked and stuff. And so Alfred goes into the Silver Room, and while the door is shutting, he does this like crazy maneuver all over the room. He jumps from the ledge
Pointless.
to the chandelier, over
Wrecks
to
this
this like
motherfucker's house.
over to the flag hanging on the wall. He slides down the flag, and then he after he slides on the flag, he goes down a pole, and then he does like a slide kick on the floor, and he like just barely like keeps the door open in time. And it's like, my guy, you could have like thrown a banana across the room, and if it had just caught the door, like you don't got to do all that craziness, you know.
It was
like,
just a lot.
it's just goofy. Robin's whole character is douchey in this. Like,
I hate it.
I feel bad that he lost his family, but honestly, the movie doesn't even give you time to feel bad for him because he's such a douchebag, like 100%, like right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like in any other movie, if somebody's whole family died, you'd be like, oh my god.
Oh,
But in this movie,
wow.
Robin just he like doesn't seem sad for his family. Like he seems angry at Two-Face, but he doesn't seem sad about his family. And he goes straight into douche mode, like after that, like stealing the Batmobile and not really respecting Bruce Wayne's house and property properly and stuff like that.
Right.
And, it just the movie doesn't give you a chance to like Robin really off the bat or to feel bad for him.
Right. They could have done that whole thing, I think, in my opinion, a little bit better, for sure.
The Robin thing, it is what it is. It wasn't done great. It is the first one with with Robin in it, so they did what they could. Has there been one since with Robin in it?
I think the next one.
I think, well, yeah, there's, but a different Robin. I guess the only other Robin that's, like, happened since was when, like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and, like, Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Kind of, like,
Kinda hints
they
towards
kind of
it.
hint toward it, but then they didn't make any more of those movies, so.
Where they stop.
So,
Which, I'd like to know why. If anybody knows why,
There's
please
that-
comment.
there's that meme about how Robin and the Joker went to the same high school because they're both in 10 Things I Hate About You. Right when Robin steals the Batmobile, Bruce is with Chase, and he
Oh!
and
his watch,
like
bruh.
it said I think the subtitle said like beeper goes off or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's a beeper, so we're like,
So I'm
okay.
like, what the heck is this?
It's
Right?
a
I'm
beeper.
expecting
We're
it to
like, it's
him
a
just
beeper.
pull
We're
out a
like,
beeper,
boom.
right? Like boop. And it's like his watch
Apple
is
Watch.
ringing, and he
just like
presses the
clicks.
button to answer.
Whoa.
And he's FaceTiming with Alfred through his watch.
The technology's not even like here.
So he's got like, like in real life you can't
And
FaceTime on an
everybody's just
Apple
like,
Watch,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
And Bruce Wayne, he's just standing in a room with this lady talking to his watch, and like
No questions asked.
she
They didn't
doesn't
talk about
she
that
doesn't
at all.
ask any questions. She just goes along with it. Like, okay, he's rich. He's talking to his butler on his watch. Whatever.
No big deal. I do that all the time.
So Riddler and Two-Face break into Bruce Wayne's house,
Correct.
and
On Halloween night.
on Halloween night
Because trick-or-treaters.
to kidnap Chase Meridian.
Yeah.
And the reason why they go to Bruce Wayne's house and the reason why they're stealing Bruce Wayne's girlfriend is because they're trying to get at Batman. And the reason that they think that Bruce Wayne is Batman is because they were able to read his thoughts using like the brain box mind control thing that Edward Nygma, Jim Carrey's character, came up with.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're at this party that's like celebrating the success of the brain box thing, and they trick Bruce into letting his brain get like read for a second.
Right.
So they use that information against Bruce to try to go and kidnap his girlfriend and I guess lure him to like a death trap. They didn't steal his girlfriend to hurt her necessarily. They stole her to get him to the facility where they were broadcasting the brainwaves from.
Yeah.
And so once she was there, they knew that he would try to come and rescue her, and they thought they would be able to use that as an opportunity to kill Batman, so there would be nobody to oppose them, and they could, reign supreme essentially over like the entire world eventually with
which
the
I
brain
never
box
really
thing.
understood too. Like what's the end game for the brain box? You just
Rule the world, I guess. World domination.
like how with the brain box?
I mean, if everyone's like zombified, sucked into the TV, and you can manipulate their minds, and you know all their personal information, have access to all of their bank accounts and everything, and you can, and to the point where he was able to forge a suicide note for his boss, and he said, you'll notice that the handwriting and the sentence structure is all correct and everything. When he's zapped into somebody's brain like that, he becomes mentally them and him. Almost. Like, he literally was able to one-to-one replicate the guy's handwriting.
Wow.
So, I mean, how wouldn't that lead to world domination? If you can just zombify everyone and, have access to everything. And the party is also a point where Edward Nygma, Jim Carrey's character, has one plan. Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones' character, has another plan.
Right.
They're kind of intersecting and, bumping heads at that point. And Two-Face manages to almost kill Batman.
Yeah, which was interesting.
Yeah, he engulfs him in a giant ball of flame, but his suit is like fireproof. But then he buries him under like 1,000 pounds of rocks.
Right.
And his suit's not rock-proof.
I mean, he's a billionaire. Why isn't it rock-proof is my question. Damn it.
And that's when Robin shows up to save Batman and kind of like return
Saves
the favor.
The day!
Yeah, so, where Bruce had saved Robin earlier, now Robin has saved Bruce, and they're kind of even. And then, yeah.
So, and then after Robin saved Batman and stuff, and then, it was right after, the Riddler met his demise. Not necessarily met his demise, he was kind of, losing it. They broke his little, brain box thing.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, they break the Riddler's, brain box broadcasting machine.
Right, so everybody's boxes stopped, I think.
And it, everybody's boxes stop, and it, sucks all the smartness back out of his brain, and it leaves his face deformed, too.
Yeah, so, that was so odd to see, and it was kind of, creepy and weird, and again, Tim Burton. It was a very Tim Burton way of really, not killing Jim Carrey's character, but more or less kind of just destroying the Riddler.
He put him in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Where
he went crazy.
Yeah, at the end of the movie he goes, I know who's Batman. I'm Batman.
And again, just a homage to Jim Carrey. I love Jim Carrey's acting. Him playing totally and completely insane, Me, Myself, and Irene, and Liar, Liar, just those movies where he's just able to just kind of let loose. I'm cracking up. He's just amazing.
I love Me, Myself, and Irene.
He is just great. He's a phenomenal actor. But, right after that, before he went crazy, the Two-Face came down as Batman was saving Chase and, Robin. And he's like, this is it. You guys are done. Good job, but, I'm going to kill you. So then Batman kind of is like, Harvey, where's your coin? You run everything based off of your coin.
Which they very heavily foreshadow in the beginning of the movie because when Chase calls Bruce to the roof with the bat signal, for the false alarm, she says something about how he doesn't make any decisions without his coin, and you can use that,
against him.
And he's just kind of like, he's like, I know.
While you say that, that's funny because me personally, I was like, this hoe is calling him up on the rooftop. I didn't even hear her say that because I was totally sex driven, that scene. So again, if they would have not made it so sex driven, maybe I would have caught that little tidbit of information, but I didn't get the foreshadow. So at the end of the movie, when that happened, I was like, oh my God, he talked to Harvey. He made Harvey snap back into Harvey mode, which you can always tell he's sort of struggling. That's why he's got the two girlfriends. He's got the good girlfriend. He's got the bad girlfriend.
The two glasses.
The two glasses where he's sipping his champagne in one hand. And exactly. So he's always these two characters.
That's something you don't see in R-rated movies anymore, or PG-13 movies anymore.
All that tobacco.
No cigarettes.
And alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But so he was just like, oh, Bruce, you are a great friend. Thank you for reminding me. You've always been a great friend. So I really think that they should have kind of explained more about Two-Face, because I feel like if they would have explained a little bit more about Two-Face, I would have felt...
That's why it leads me to the question of whether or not this is canon with the Jack Nicholson movie, because
Right.
Harvey Dent is introduced as the new district attorney in that movie. But Harvey Dent is played by Billy D. Williams in that movie, who is a black man. And, Tommy Lee Jones,
Is
who,
not.
took over the role,
Those
is not.
assholes.
So, that's why I said, certain things stay the same. Like, I'm pretty sure the Alfred actor is the same.
Yeah, I think he is too.
And I think Commissioner Gordon might be the same across a couple of
He wasn't really that big of a character in this movie, which is another I think...
He sits next to him in the circus, and he meets him on the roof when Chase is there for the false
Well, yeah,
alarm.
but he only had a couple lines. I think he should have had a little bit more of a role, in my opinion.
But if you count Batman Returns, and Batman Forever in the same timeline, then they've already kind of done all those introductions. It'd be almost like Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises, where this is now the third one in the trilogy, and you don't really need to reintroduce...
And again, if they just had the same actor... I cannot stress this enough. The same actor, I wouldn't be so confused.
How do you make a trilogy in every movie you
every
change
movie.
every
Every
actor?
single actor, to where I'm just like, but wait, what's going on? Where am I? Hello? What is going on here? So for me to kind of look at it, that's part of my reason why I look at each of these films as individual films.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the biggest misfire that they took.
It definitely makes it hard to suspend your disbelief, and they definitely feel like three individual films because of how different they are.
Right. Which we're going to do more. I think we should do our next videos on the other Batmans, kind of have a final comparison.
I don't know for sure what we're going to do next. We definitely would love to hear what you guys think.
Yes, please.
If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't like it, make sure to leave a dislike.
Likes are cooler.
And make sure to let us know in the comments what you thought and what you want to see in the future. I think that's it for Batman Forever, right?
That is it for Batman Forever. If there's more, who knows? That's what the comments are for. Well,
and I'll put a link in the description to the last video we did, episode 1 of At the Concession Stand, which is about the movie Die Hard, and we kind of talk about it for a really long time. And whether or not it's a Christmas movie and all sorts of fun stuff. If you like Die Hard, we go way into Die Hard.
Into it.
And guys, this is Luke saying goodbye.
Bernie, bye-bye.
And we'll catch you guys next time at the Concession Stand.